Tonight, military and police deployment in Bono East regional town of Nkranza in attempt to avert any eruption in violent protest against naming of Techiman as capital. We tell you why some MPP youth there say they have defected to the NDC.
We say thank you by voting our leaders in 2020 out of power and voting massively for NDC come 2020 election.
So whoever dares to break the law in the name of defecting or another town has been mentioned and theirs have not been mentioned, we will deal with them accordingly.
And government is also warning tonight it will deal with the troublemakers and who are unhappy with the choice of the regional capitals.
When a few young guys misbehave, you don't take it as what their action is a representative of the people of Salaga. It's not. Ever capitalise rowdy behavior, illegal, lawless behavior put up at people.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
Top Story is always brought to you by Bond. Your success, our passion is also brought to you by GASEM, the nation builder. Vodafone, the future is exciting, ready, and nationwide medical health insurance, your healthcare family. There is police and military deployment tonight in the Bono East regional town of Nkranza in an attempt to avert an eruption in violent protest against the declaration of Techiman as a capital. Already, there has been a press conference by some NPP youth in the constituency who have tonight defected to the NDC, vowing to vote against the governing party. Also tonight, there has been spontaneous rioting, as we know, last night in Salaga after the President Akufo-Addo named Damongo as capital of the newly created Savannah region. Security chiefs in the Bono East region hope to avert a similar fate. We'll go live to Nkranza shortly, where the military and police are out in force with stern warning that any troublemaker will be severely dealt with. But first, President Akufo-Addo has been attempting himself to address the concerns of those aggrieved by assuring development will be equitably distributed across the region tonight.
I can assure that this government, which facilitated the creation of the region in compliance with the provisions of the Constitution, will help ensure the smooth takeoff and development of Bono East. Many of the reasons alluded to as the basis for the creation of the new region are not peculiar to Bono East alone. The creation of the 6 new regions presents us with the opportunity to serve better the needs of the people from these new regions through the effective and efficient reorganization and distribution of our public services and infrastructure. With the coalition from Bono East described by the Brobe Commission as, quote, one of the most organized, unquote, I appeal to you to support government's efforts in developing the new region. In the President's 2019 budget statement, an amount of 20 million cedis has been allocated as seed capital for Bono East to help in the establishment of the needed infrastructure for the smooth takeoff of the region. I know one of the concerns of the coalition in Bono East had to do with, quote, appointments to government positions and feelings of marginalization. You will thus be glad to know that soon you will have your own minister hailing from Bono East. I'm happy to inform you that Techiman has been chosen as the capital. I want to assure residents of the region, however, the government projects and structures will be equitably spread across the region.
Well, the President Akufo-Addo was speaking a short while ago at the Jubilee House. There's another ceremony that just ended, and this had to do with another of the regions. We'll be going live to my correspondent from the Jubilee House shortly, but we know King Tampoa Tebubu, also in Kranza, made proposals backed by strong economic points, but Techiman, a leading market town and one of two major cities and settlements of the region with population of over 104,000 people, as at 2013, won the day and was declared capital of the newly created Bono East region. Tonight, there is some concern in Kranza, where the youth there holding a press conference declaring their objection to the settlement on Techiman as a capital. The NPP youth had declared that, in fact, they will defect or have defected to the NDC, but Member of Parliament for Kranza North, Derek Odro, who is also the Deputy Defence Minister, denied claims in Kranza never made proposal for the capital to be cited there.
The announcement, a lot of hitches here and there, demonstrations. We want now to put the people together. Development, as the President mentioned, would be spread all over Kron East, and therefore all and sundry should remain calm so that we take our time, get our new regional minister, and then we begin to develop the region.
You are a Deputy Defence Minister and also the Member of Parliament from Kranza North. Your town, some youth in your town, before the announcement, were quite clear that in the absence of Nkranza being given the regional capital, they were going to demonstrate. Did it come to you as a surprise that Nkranza was not chosen? Are you disappointed?
We are not disappointed. No, all areas. It's not only in Nkranza traditional area. We have Kintampo, we have Atebubu, we have Techiman, and then we have Nkranza. All these big towns where, they sent petitions for the regional capital to be given to them. Now, what the people demonstrated against was not the fact that Nkranza North would not be chosen or other area has been chosen. No, the demonstration was that the last meeting that was held at Sunyani before this meeting, before this gathering today, Nkranza chiefs were not invited.
I want to take you live now to Nkranza, where my colleague Precious Semavo is standing by. Is there covering reactions for us tonight on in the wake of the announcement of Techiman as a capital? Precious, you report that already that you see military and police patrols in the town of Nkranza.
Yes, Evan, that is the situation. Since morning, and that I got to town, the police and then the military, they have been moving on almost all the streets available within Nkranza just to make their presence felt. Should in case anyone will be thinking of fomenting, troubles, then they will know that the security are just a hand stretch away from them. So they are here. I spoke to the divisional commander who says that their presence is only to ensure that law-abiding citizens will go about their normal daily activities, and anyone who would want to foment troubles will be dealt with accordingly. So their presence is heavily felt here, and they continue to move around. I saw about two, pickups full of military men, and then the police also have their vans and saloon cars also moving around town. Evans.
However, there have been some protests already. There have been a press conference by one group of MPP activists who say they've defected to the NDC. In fact, the commander you spoke to addressed that and said, well, that is your responsibility, that is your right, but it will allow them to take the law into their own hands to destroy property. Tell us about this group of individuals who say they've defected.
Well, this group are saying that they, originally, Nkranza has been a stronghold for the NDC, but in recent times, MPP managed, to win the seat. Now they believe that the former president, John Dramani Mahama, and his wife, who hails from this part of the country, is their in-law. But because of certain things that they were not happy about, that is why they voted against them massively. Now, they had a belief when the then candidate Kufuor promised them that he is going to ensure that their money is locked up in the various Ponzi schemes will be, paid to them. That has not materialized, and they were hoping that this time around they will get the regional capital, to sort of appease them for the promises that was made to them, and also to consolidate by way of thanking them for voting, for them. So they were of high hopes that they will get this particular seat, but that has not happened, and they are so much disappointed, and they are saying that they will work against the MPP and ensure that 2016 general election, the MPP will pay dearly for that. That is why they organized themselves quickly on the heels of the announcement of Techiman as the regional capital. And indeed, Evans, one thing is very, very instructive. The location of where this group gathered to announce their intention is at the in front of the office, the NDC constituency office in Nkranza. That is where this group met to make this announcement, to say that they are defecting from the MPP to the NDC, just to show how disappointed they are with the president choosing Techiman as the regional capital. And they go on to say that they are disappointed with the local political leaders, the MCE, the MPs, and the likes. And particularly, they also talked about their traditional leaders who they believed did not do enough to ensure that Nkranza, becomes the capital for the newly created region, Bono East.
Thank you very much, Precious. Reporting there from Nkranza tonight. But in the last hour also, the president has also been addressing another ceremony, this time to announce the capital for another of the created regions, which is the Ahafo region. My presidential correspondent, Elton Brobe, is on the line with us. Elton, so where did the president settle on as far as the capital for Ahafo region is concerned?
Right, so Evans, Goso was chosen as the capital of the Ahafo region, and from the responses that came after the announcement was made, it was quite clear that the residents there themselves had settled on Goso even before the president would go ahead and make that particular announcement, because Goso had long been the more like the unofficial capital of the Ahafo area, and a bit of history will help put the matter in the right perspective. Ahafo, as you may be aware, used to be part of Western Ashanti before Ghana gained independence. Now, under Ghana First President Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, the Ahafo part was carved out of the present Ashanti region to be part of the Ahafo region in 1959. Unsatisfied with this particular decision, the Ahafo area since 1981 petitioned, succeeding governments for them to be independent from the Bono region, but were never successful until President Kufuor came to power. They petitioned the president because the president in the run-up to the election had made it clear that he was going to create more regions out of the 10 existing regions. And therefore, it came as no surprise, according to President Kufuor, when the Ahafo area had the largest number of voter turnout and those who voted to endorse the creation of the Ahafo region. Also, even before the announcement was made, the coalition had come together and had settled on Goso. So there was no issue regarding the choice of Goso as the administrative capital of the newly created Ahafo region.
What has been the reaction to this?
It's been welcoming. I mean, MPs from this particular area are hopeful that developments will speed up in this particular part of the country. Their claim is that because chiefs in the Ahafo area pay allegiance to the Otumfuo to the second year something, and they have the view that it is because of that for so many years they've been denied their fair share of development from the Bron region. But now that they are out of the Bron region and they are a region on its own, they are hopeful that their contributions to the national economy, gold, timber, food, and other resources, they will now have their fair share. And they are going all out, contributing their quota to ensure that this is realized.
Elton, this is not the end of the process, is it? Because I understand there are further ceremonies, events planned tomorrow to finish the. So we've done what, 4 of the regions so far. 2 more left.
We've done for waiting for Friday is going to be the last 2. The OT region, which we are also being told that Jersey Kind is in a poor position to be named as the administrative capital.
Elton, thank you very much. Thankfully, we've just been joined on a telephone line by the Deputy Defence Minister, Derek Odro, who also happens to be the Member of Parliament for Nkranza North. Major Derek Odro, thank you for your time here on Top Story. We're hearing tonight from your constituency where a group of NPP youth had held a press conference in front of the NDC head office there, announcing that they've defected from the NPP because of the disappointment that they witnessed today in the selection of Techiman as a capital. Your reaction?
Yeah, thank you very much, my brother. Yes, I have not heard it as of now, but let me believe what you are saying, that there's maybe a press conference, press statement, what have you. But it started somewhere along the line before the announcement this morning that they were sidelined, in Kranza people were sidelined in some of the movements, some of the activities. For example, the last day that they held meeting at Sinyani, all the parliament chiefs, all the chiefs around the region, the Brong region, the Brong East, they were all assembled in Sinyani. But Kranza chiefs were taken out. Why? Nobody could tell. They also claimed that it was mentioned in Techiman and by other very important people that Nkranza did not send or submit petition to request for the capital that all other places were asking for. Nkranza did not send it petition. And other allegations. That is why they demonstrated to hammer home that what they said, were not true. All the allegations that they were making was not true. But for now, it has been announced that the regional capital should go to Techiman. So obviously, the allegations that they were making against Nkranza would still hit them, and they will be peeved. They will not be happy. So they have every reason to be sad. But what we are telling them now is that we have so many places, at least 4 places, Techiman, Nkranza, and Atebubu. All these areas applied for or sent petitions. It's only one place that will get. So it will go any other way. So it shouldn't be a situation where everybody or those who send petitions should be worried. All that we need is development. So if somebody said he has defected and it's an MPP is going to NDC, that person should be careful because we are within the place. We have MPP people in Atebubu, NDC people in Atebubu, NDC people in Kitampo, MPP in Kitampo. Techiman and MPP, they are there, and NDC are also there. So it's not only in Nkranza. And how many of them have defected? If he's the only person who said he has defected, maybe we would ask an elderly person or level-headed person say he should rescind his decision.
Well, it's not one person. It's not one person. In fact, the press conference was done, and it was a collection of individuals, really, youth who support your party, who came together to do this press conference together in a show of solidarity to declare their intention or that the fact that they've defected.
Yeah, other places, NDC people wanted even to boycott the elections that we conducted, random. But by and large, most of the NDC people supported the idea. Who doesn't want a development? Well, if you watch the proceedings this morning, all the NDC people in the Borough East, all the MPs in the Borough East, we trooped in to go and congratulate. We trooped in to go to the president to congratulate him for having given us the region. Nobody sat on the fence. So if you are in the district or the region or the constituency and you are not happy that it was not given to you, I'm sorry, it is not. You remember that it was a grandson North, a grandson a chief who gave the vote of thanks and appealed to all and sundry that he is happy that it has been given to Techiman. He is not sad because by all means has to go to a place. So it shouldn't be a situation where you are defected just because the president happens to be from MPP. So you are annoyed. Maybe it's not even an MPP member.
But, very quickly, and also because you're the deputy defense minister, our reporter on the ground says they've seen military and police patrols in the town in an attempt to avert the eruption we saw in Salaga. What do you say to the people there tonight who are agitated and maybe contemplating a similar act?
Yeah, before the announcement by the president this morning, the people of Nkoranza had assured me that there was not going to be anything, even though the national security thought it wise to not allow what happened in Salaga to happen anywhere. Those who are yet to have their activity, their pronouncement, the CI handing over. National security will not take chances. They have to be proactive. So they sent soldiers to, or security to Nkoranza and to Techiman as well. Because nobody knew who was going to win, who was going to be pronounced as a place for the regional capital. So they sent soldiers to Techiman, they sent soldiers to Nkoranza. And of course, Nkoranza people demonstrated, and therefore you could just assume that maybe something may happen. So it's proactiveness. The security institution wanted to be proactive, that's why they sent it. But that doesn't mean that, but they had assured me that there was not going to be any problem. Nobody would burn any office. Nobody would even complain. But they are forced to be sad because the expectation was that they were also going to receive the regional capital.
And of course, we haven't heard of any rioting in Nkoranza tonight, apart from the press conferences held today to express intentions and declare defections. I'm grateful, Derek Odro, retired major there, who is also the deputy defense minister. We can now speak to the Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development, Mr. Damboche, who I'm grateful to say had joined us on the telephone line right now. Thank you, Mr. Boche, for your time here on Top Story. First, your reaction to the violence we saw yesterday, and already we are hearing of, and the Deputy Defense Minister confirming to us that intelligence had led to deployment of military and police already to Nkoranza. Did you foresee how this will turn out just because of the declaration of capitals?
No, I did not expect that, but I'm also not surprised. I mean, nowadays we have all sorts of young guys doing all sorts of things under all sorts of influences. So even if it is not what they do, is not a reflection of the thinking of the majority of them, you still can get few people misbehaving just to negatively affect the image of an area. So it was possible that it could happen, but I did not expect it to be as it has happened.
I'm just wondering and curious how these capitals they became. I mean, what went into the selection of the capitals? Because you get a sense from the people that and we just heard Derek Odro say, for example, that he believed that people have a justification in Nkoranza to be sad because he mentions that some of the chiefs there had not been in part of the processes leading to this point.
Process of doing that.
Well, he mentions, for example, that there was a meeting of chiefs prior to today.
He's repeating what the press conference that those people heard. They just this afternoon, they have all trooped to come and apologize to me. That all that they said, they were misled and they were misinformed. Led by the professor. You can call him and talk to him. But I kept telling people that what they were saying were baseless, they were untrue. I was very combative in my defense of those accusations, that they were baseless, they were untrue. Because I was so clear in my mind that what they are saying had absolutely no basis, because nothing of that sort had happened. Totally baseless. And I was very consistent in all radio stations that they were totally baseless. And it's true, today. After the event, they came to apologize that, well, they were misled.
What's there?
So he certainly, if he's repeating, is out of ignorance, because he has not followed the process. He hasn't shown any interest in that process. So he cannot be repeating what they have said.
I mean, you know he's the MP for the area and Deputy Defense Minister, right?
I'm telling you, I'm the Minister for Regional Organization. People have been talking to me. He hasn't. So he cannot be repeating what he doesn't know.
Is there an objective means of determining where capital should be?
It's the prerogative of the president. So whoever assigns the steps or the criteria that shows objectivity, I do not know. But it's the president who decides where the capital should be. And that's all. Like all many other decisions that rest with the president, and he does it by consulting people who he has reason to believe that can advise him well. Then he takes his decision. And so that's how it is. Okay, got our original, district capital last year, some months ago, and we're very happy. And when the airline came, it had Educom as the district capital. So be it, and it was it. So once we get it, we are okay with it. How Mr. President arrived at that is his decision to make.
And I know you have 2 more regions to go. I guess that will be settled on Friday.
Yes,
I understand.
on Friday.
On Friday.
Western North and Oti.
Okay.
And yes.
From now, I guess once Friday is done, the development bit in your name kicks in quite actively. And I'm wondering when the 20 million will hit accounts and development started.
Evans, you know that, how to spend government's money. There should be the approval process. There should be the gift miss. What you want to use the money for, you have to key it in and all that. But the fact that 20 million has been approved and is there for them to use, I don't think there's no question about that. So that is there. In addition to that, Mr. President, as he indicated in all his address, did set up this ministerial committee to give him an immediate to short-term plan of development. So that is also being done, and in addition to what other departments within the government system, Special Development Initiative, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Education, whatever they'll be doing within the government system, that's for the other regions, there's a special attention of development program for these regions. So it's something that Mr. President is really determined to do. You remember many people said that, regions that were created earlier, they haven't seen any development. You don't need to create a region before you get development. No, there were so many commentaries to that effect. But we are very confident that in a year or 2, people will see that, yes, the creation of the region has really met the aspirations of the people who demanded it.
I'm grateful that you joined us. That's a Minister for Regional Reorganization and Development, Dan Boche. Newsnight starts in a few minutes here on Joy 99.7 FM. Stay with us.
It's time.